Everybody's looking great today. Guile Esports, Team Oxygen, loving these teams right now. They both made it into our grand final, and it was just a difficult journey here for everybody, but we have finally made it to our final two teams here in PCL. And I think we mentioned this yesterday. This is probably going to be the last PCL of the year. I don't think we're going to have time for another one in December as everybody's kind of going on vacations and stuff. So these teams are going to have to lay it down on the line here as we kind of close it up and we look on to 2018 as a big year for Paragon. So with that being said, we are in the middle of our draft, and Guile with the first band take out Quang.
Yeah, Quang, both a solid jungler and a solid offlaner, just taking away that flex pick from Team Oxygen. Although we haven't seen Meds really use them, so I think they're just playing it safe there. Let me see Team Oxygen pick up the Muriel. I think she is the top tier pick for that support role. You can play so aggressive on lane with her. That global presence with the ultimate and very strong hero.
Yeah, very strong indeed. And with the first pick of the grand final, it's going to be Guile Esports taking the Rampage. Not a whole lot of a surprise there. Has been a very strong hero across the entire thing. And Team Oxygen, they're going to go with the Sevrog first pick as well.
Yeah, I think the Rampage, the Sevrog, and the Muriel are the new unholy trinity of you're going to see guys banned out or first picked. It's not uncommon to see Rampage and Sevrog. They're going to be the first bands of Muriel and the Quang picked up instead. So it's not a surprising draft so far.
Yeah, it's not too surprising at all. But Team Oxygen are taking a little bit more time now, finally going with the Wraith for their second pick. And this is the first time that we've seen Wraith really prioritize so much here on day 2 of our competition.
Yeah, I've seen the Team Oxygen from the prior games. They're looking for that sort of pick comp where they've got like the Wraith, the Sevrog, even the Grux. They're looking more for a pick comp than a team fight. It looks that way anyway.
Yeah, hopefully you can increase your levels a little bit on the mic because it sounds like you're cutting out a little bit. But yeah, Team Oxygen, they definitely used the Wraith extremely well in the last game. Strafe was doing he was being so aggressive with it. He was using the back it up at exactly the right times, and he really showed people how to put down a clinic as a hero. Meanwhile, Guile, they've taken the Zinx, another strong hero that we saw Solo Nazgul play in the last one. Maybe Lucera can play it better here, or we see somebody other than the support playing it for Guile. There's always that possibility as well.
Yeah, it's not too often you see the Zinx go up or probably the second best pick I can see now in the support role after the Muriel. So we're seeing a lot of play there. Just the ability to stun someone, and she can put down the damage as well with the kit claws, and she's also got the really good pickup as a support. The Gideon, probably one of the two premier mid laners, along with that AoE stun. They've got so much heavy CC, Rampage Rock, the Zinc stun, and now the Gideon stun. Team Oxygen, you're gonna have to be careful they don't get caught in up.
Yeah, there's a lot from Guile that can catch out Team Oxygen. Actually, do me a favor. If you want to go into your Discord settings and actually lower the noise gate on it, that would probably help out a little bit. So Guile Esports, they pick up the Gideon, a pretty strong hero in the mid lane, but as we've talked about before, it can be beaten out a little bit by the Fae. But Team Oxygen, they've been taking a couple of Morigesh picks. So how do you think a Morigesh would do against Gideon in this case?
I mean, a Morigesh is, she's just, again, she fits right into that sort of pick potential. Gideon's obviously better in the team fight composition, but a Morigesh left unchecked, she will snowball the game, basically, if you can let her get fed. And she'll make picks from behind walls, etc. As long as she's got that vision, especially like raptors and stuff like that, she can get those picks fairly safely as well. And with that movement speed she's got now, just not being able to be body blocked in as well, she's a really strong pick.
Well, she hasn't been picked up here. Team Oxygen opting to go for a Grux and the Decker with their third and fourth picks. We've seen Team Oxygen using the Grux quite a bit in this grand final, and both teams obviously know the value of the Grux, as Guile Esports had been banning it before up against Asura Rage. So Team Oxygen, they use it here. We've seen a lot of pressure onto the objectives with the Grux, and he's definitely great for making sure you can secure things like Fangtooth and the Prime Guardian as well.
Yeah, he's just, Grux is always going to be. He got caught in that weird situation where he wasn't quite a tank, he wasn't quite an assassin. He was sort of caught in between both worlds. But I think now people are starting to realize the potential of the Grux and just how. I mean, you get a Grux on a tower, you're going to watch that tower melt. And that smash and grab, if you can add 2 or 3 people into the knock up as well, you can sort of lock people down for like a second or two, which is really good crowd control.
And meanwhile, that's a bit of a surprise pick now from Guile Esports. They decide to go with a Grimmix and a Revenant and a Zinx. They have a lot of ranged heroes to their credit here, and having a Grimmix and a Revenant on the same side, that's a lot of ability damage that can be coming through.
Yeah, just looking at this draft, both teams only really have one tank to sort of sit behind in the Rampage and the Sevrog. The Grux can sort of off tank, but not really designed for that role. So both teams, quite squishy right now. They're going to be really relying on this strong CC chain that they all have. So, the Sevrog route, the Wraith backup, the Grux smash and grab, the Decker stun, and obviously the Cage. Whereas Guile Esports, you've got all the stuns, the knockbacks. Even the Revenant's got a slow in a route with the ult. So, just strong control from both sides.
All right, well, let's not delay it any further. We do have game number 1 of our grand final here for you guys. Let's start on up in... You can feel the tension building. We'll start it up in 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 1 of our grand final. A lot of people have been waiting for Oxygen's return to the competitive scene, and we finally see them here introducing them. It's going to be Strafe playing the Wraith. We've got, or actually, I don't know why it went to the other team. Arsenic will be handling the Marrakesh. Meds playing the Grux out of the jungle. Proficiency, he's going to be playing the solo lane Sevrog. And then finally, we've got Phasma on the Decker.
And for Guile Esports on the Dawn side, we're going to have Ghost on the Revenant, Azzy Bear on the Gideon, Lucer on the Zinx, Idoc manning the Rampage, and Regal on this off-lane Grimmix.
This is probably the most interesting thing to come out of the draft. So we're going to have the ranged versus Sevrog matchup that we had talked a little bit with Blood Maurice about, and Regal's getting a nice little block out there, making sure that the lane is going to push his way. But it should be interesting to see how he works out against Proficiency, since he should have a whole lot of mana for this matchup, and he can get some of it back with the shields up against Proficiency's abilities as well.
Yeah, I think against the Sevrog, who can spam out those Qs on a 3-second
interval. Oh my gosh,
be...
wow. Okay, so Meds with the early rotate gets the first blood out onto Lucer. Obviously, Lucer being a bit too aggressive for his own taste, and he's going to pay for it with the first blood. But maybe Phasma wants a little bit more stasis bomb onto Ghost, and the back it up onto him as well. Revenant in a lot of trouble. Is Meds going to go in for this kill? He's going to have to back it up as, oh no, Phasma, please. He's actually going to get out of the tower range, and Strafe gets a kill. That is just amazing teamwork and game knowledge by Team Oxygen, getting 2 kills already in the duo lane.
Yeah, and this is the power. We used to see this a lot with the Narbash and the Wraith, with the back it up into the stun, but also just as useful with the Decker stun. So yeah, really well played by them, and early gank there from Meds, just really setting the tempo for the game. This is how Oxygen want to play this game.
Yeah, they're already taking the advantage in the duo, and that was just so smart by the Cowboys. They even used the stasis bomb before the backup. Phasma knew that he was going to be able to hit it, and he's really making a place for himself here on Team Oxygen, playing the Decker, already having a huge effect here in game number 1 of the grand final.
Yeah, I'm just going to look back to this duo lane, Regal doing his best. He's actually really, boxing out Proficiency. Proficiency sitting there on maybe 3/4 health. Regal pushing in probably 9 minions here with a siege minion. Is going to do some real damage to this tower, even though it's the early game and it's got that early game protection up. Still going to be able to put it to about maybe 3/4 HP.
He's doing a lot of work against him, and it's all about the minion control. He's making Proficiency stay away from the lane, getting the push in early, and he's punishing the Sevrog, a hero that a lot of people generally assume is the de facto best solo laner, but Regal is playing this so well. I love seeing Regal being able to pick up the more of a carry type hero and just dominating the solo lane with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's made proficiency back. How many times do you see someone against a Sevarog and make them back, not the other way around? Just, is Regal defining the meta or redefining the meta when it comes to the solo lane picks?
Now let's be real here. Proficiency is not Ram. He is not Team Reborn.net. He is not Oxygen's normal solo laner. So, maybe this isn't really the same kind of matchup if Ram is here. But still, just Regal's dominance of the matchup is really nothing short of amazing here.
Yeah. Azir just having a little set to with Arsenic there in the mid lane. Probably coming out the worse off in that. I think if the Moragesh can get that hive on you, can really put some damage. Oh, as he gets caught lazy back in.
As he's been found he was found hula hooping by Meds, who will get the knock up to make sure that recall is interrupted. Now let's see what Strafe can do. Might be thinking about a back it up onto Lucer if he gets out of position again. He's going to continue to put the aggression out. Ghost is going to try to make Strafe pay. The stasis bomb misses and Strafe. Alright, he's forced to use the back it up. Idek just throws out that rock. It wasn't really even close to hitting anything with it. But right now, Guile Esports trying to make their way back into this duo and try to get some kind of advantage up against Team Oxygen. Just trying to find anything they can up against this duo.
Yeah, I think they're really pressured. I think that early gank I just made them not nervous, but a little bit more wary, knowing what Team Oxygen can do. And obviously, Team Oxygen have got the preferred side because they're jungler, especially when it's a jungle like Meds. They've got that advantage of having that safe side jungle, so he's just easier rotations from him. And they've just got to play it a little bit more careful and maybe not as aggressive as they'd like to.
Idek with a pretty good rotation is able to pick up the stinging buff out of the river, so Meds won't be able to get the buff for himself. Oh, Idek trying to get really aggressive with those rocks as he's dead. He is not dead. He is definitely you thought the proficiency was going to be able to get him. Meanwhile, the curse eventually does secure that kill for Team Oxygen. That was still some good play and patience from Azir, but unfortunately the rotations were a bit too strong from Team Oxygen, and it helped them to secure the kill on the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, as he's making these rotations, Proficiency is making these rotations, but that's just leaving Regal to have a lot of solo farm right now. So he's managed to push the lane back in, and he's got to answer and clear this tower before it takes any more damage. I'm liking the rotations from Meds. He seems to be really on point, and
he's one of those junglers. Right?
It just seems to be one of those junglers that seems to appear when he needs to appear, like sort of superhero tendencies. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just there when he needs to, like a Gandalf sort of thing. So I just see him making a rotation again onto this duo lane.
Can Meds be your hero, baby?
Meds can always be my hero. No ward vision down there for Guile Esports. You've got to be very careful. I think they're going to get caught here by Meds.
Lucer actually spent a lot of his wards trying to deal with the one near the black buff, and that's going to allow Meds to make his way in there. But a good ricochet stun from Lucer is going to keep Grux out for the time being. Meanwhile, though, it's going to be Guile Esports getting the gank onto the mid, but Arsenic got a bit too far back for them to actually be able to find anything there, so some very close misses for each side. But do Guile put themselves in a bad position once again? They realize that Meds didn't really have to back it on up. Maybe he goes in on again here. Back it up. Available for Strafe. And they're going to get the perfect one on Lucer. Into the stasis bomb. Into the smash and grab. Lucer trying to get back. He can only throw out a ricochet stun before he ends up falling here in the duo. And Ghost has to continue to be just very, very careful. Because remember what happened last time there was a gank on this lane. Both of them ended up going down in staggered fashion. Maybe Azir can make something happen here. He'd have to walk over a ward to make it happen. So they will know that he's here. Black hole available. Azir about to come on through. Surprise, surprise, it's there. But as he comes on in with the black hole, he misses, I believe, everything with it. Strafe got around over to the side with the surprise, surprise. They didn't have the vision that they needed to make sure that he died there. So Strafe gets away with his life.
Yeah, you're going to have to excuse me right now, because my client has actually crashed, so I'm just going to try and remedy that if you want to carry on.
It's not totally unexpected, actually. In any case, Guile Esports, even though they just lost that engagement, they're going over to the mid lane And going over to Fangtooth, actually, trying to take that down, and they will surround it with all 5 members. The advantage that Regal has gained in the early game is helping them to make sure that even though Ghost isn't doing all that well, they still have a carry ready to go on the board, and he's going to quickly go back over to the right lane, which is pushed in so far on the proficiency side. Regal's really done a masterful job in this lane, making sure that the Sevrog isn't as dominant as he generally is. Arsenic still hanging out at mid. We do have meds available to put some hurt onto Azzybear if he puts himself into trouble. Azzy just a little bit unlucky with that last gank, getting the Dark Rift too far over everything to actually get the black hole in a place where he wanted it. And it's just led to Team Oxygen having a little bit more space here, but still the first Fangtooth of the game did go to Guile Esports, so they're not getting nothing out of this early game, which is, I guess, good if you're a fan of Guile Esports. Taking a look at the cards, we have some early Tyrants out from each side, and the Flame of Seconds as well. If we take a look at the total minion kills, it's within 2 for each side, with Guile Esports having a slight gold lead thanks to their recent Fangtooth take. Wow, as he getting stuck right next to meds, eventually will be able to make his way out. Let's try to fix a couple of these bugs. I hope that I don't end up crashing. That would be a bit unfortunate. Are you back, Nate?
I'm just trying to find it, but the VLC link is now broken. Which is also
I'll try refreshing that. Might work out. Arsenic will get caught out in the middle of the jungle. See if I can follow him, but he's out of the rocks. He can't really get anything there. He will try to continue to be aggressive. Meds is going to get pushed into Idic. That's not where you want him to be, and he couldn't get his ultimate off in time. Now Phasma is going to come on in with a stasis bomb as he's trying to get out. Colossal Blow is going to miss proficiency, couldn't quite get it. Rico is getting some pain on the backside of it, but Phasma is going to make it hard for the Grimmix to really push any harder here. Does get a GTFO on the Phasma, but he doesn't want to chase that too far. Right now, it seems like Regal is the only one who's doing excessively well for Guile Esports. Meanwhile, Team Oxygen, they're about to take care of this push from Ghost and Lucer. Mez comes around the backside. Ghost is running through the enemy team's tower. Lucer takes the aggro. He's going to get hit with the back it up. Doesn't really matter because he was getting hit by the smash grab anyway. Still, though, Ghost is able to find the kill, and that might start to shift the scales in favor of Guile Esports. The Reckoning Gold is definitely something that Guile can take out of that fight, but Ghost will fall anyway. He's just surrounded inside the jungle, and Team Oxygen will continue to find the 2-for-1s. Again, it seems like the game is being a little bit too difficult here.
I'm nearly in sync now.
Okay, well, soon we'll have Nate back. We'll have his wonderful dulcet tones.
There we go. I can guarantee no one's ever said that before. Right, I'm back in the game.
All right.
So what did I miss?
We're glad to have you. Fangtooth is back as well. So it seems like Nate and the Fangtooth share a bit of a bond. Guile Esports thinking about going for another one. There's not really a whole lot of presence from Team Oxygen here. So it may be pretty free for Guile Esports to take now, negating the strafe knock through the wall. Is he going to go for it? You can tell that he's setting up for it as well. But I think he's going to decide against it, and that's going to be the second of the Fangtooth of the game going over to Guile Esports.
Yeah, very clean take there. You can see that Strafe wanted to maybe just try and steal it, but with, I mean, how many sessions have we got now? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, at least two or three per side. So it's very difficult to try and gauge that knock once you got that many sessions online.
Strafe gets to back it up on the Lucer and the containment fence on the 2, but how far do they really want to pressure this one since Ghost is doing so much damage? It looks like it's enough, and the stasis bomb hits on the 2 with the smash and grab on top. Lucer is going to easily get taken down by Team Oxygen, but a black hole on the backside, it could be enough for Idic and Azzy to turn around. Meds is going to be aggressed on, but actually it looks like the tables are going to turn on to Ghost. Now Phasma's a bit too far up, but Arsenic and Proficiency are arriving, and Idic's going to find it very difficult to back it on out of this one. Subjugates there along with the curse, and Team Oxygen find another kill while Regal is trying to get the push going on right. Being the carry, he may be able to find the tier 2 tower here. Also has a nice push going himself, but he has to take care of this minion wave, and Team Oxygen will be able to deal with him eventually. Be interesting to see if he actually takes this down, but I think he's going to have to back it up before he finishes the job.
Yeah, it was just a series of engagements, counter engagements there. The two-man stun into the Decker cage is very nice, but then as he comes in with that there was a 2 or 3 man Gideon, and then Meds just didn't know when he was dead and just wanted to carry on going, even though he probably shouldn't have taken that engagement. So yeah, just very good back and forth from both these teams.
Yeah, good back and forth, and also good pushing from Regal. There's not really been anybody to try to stop him this game, and unfortunately, when the Sevarog goes on to other lanes to try to help, Regal's going to be able to push the solo lane in quite a bit, and he did a number on the tier 2 tower so far, taking it down below half. You can't really, if you're Team Oxygen, you have to either get something in return for that or just not allow that to happen anymore. They have to control the lanes a little bit more, because if you let Guile continue to take fights like that and get tier 2s, this game's not going to go too well.
Yeah, I mean that team fight was probably ended up as a draw, but what they're allowing is this Grim EXE just basically keep pushing into that tier 2, like almost split pushing. You wouldn't see that like the Grim is one of the best split pushers in the game, but I mean, he's quite safe, but as long as he's only got the Sevarog to deal with, he's not really worried. It's when these multiple rotations come onto him that he's going to have issues, but I don't think Team Oxygen are, they're not too fussed about sending anyone over there to actually help with that.
Yeah, they don't seem too worried about it. They're just going to continue to try to keep the other lanes down and say, you know what, if it's just Regal that we have to worry about, we're completely okay with that. Yeah. We'll continue to try to play against the Grim. It's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, he's getting a lot of solo farming. His XP now, I mean, I don't think he's got a level advantage onto proficiency. Now, they're both still level 10, so it's only, what is he, 14 minion creeps up as well, so not too much.
It's not that much. The more important thing I would say for Oxygen here is they have to make sure that Guile don't continue to get the Fangtooth, and both teams are going to try to play against that right now. Now, as in the mid lane, we'll have to play up against proficiency, and Grimmix is very close to this fight. He isn't elsewhere on the map like he has been, so he is ready to help here if needed, and Guile Esports definitely need it. Now, the question is, with this Grimmix, are they actually able to take a fight?
I mean, like we said earlier, they only really have IDOC to be that front line. No one else really wants to get involved in those front lining fights. So if Team Oxygen managed to actually, drag him down through that ultimate in the jungle, which is never an easy job to do.
Lucer, he's about to go right into a snake's nest. Proficiency. Oh, just trying to ward them off. Idic, ready to get pushed into the rest of Team Oxygen. Meanwhile, though, Ghost is going to get taken down on the other side of it as Team Oxygen, they went for a gank inside the jungle. The containment fence is going to keep Idic there. He's already in his ultimate, so how far do they really want to go on this one? They're doing a lot of damage. The black hole is there. Does it keep Idic alive? He's out of his ultimate, and he's out of life as well. He's going to fall in exchange for meds. Now, can there be anything on the other side of this? Regal still wants to try to get stuff done, but he's trying to play up against the Sevarog. He's been doing it the entire game. Will he continue here? Team Oxygen just backing up for now, and they don't really see any reason to give Guile Esports anything else. There will be the displacement blast on the proficiency, the BM from Regal, but it's just going to be another Fangtooth going over to Guile, and eventually these have to stack up.
I mean, they do stack up really quickly, and they can be really snowballing because, each level of the Fangtooth is really powerful in its own way. Like, you get the early game one when you need it with that extra money, 5,000 gold to the team who takes it, but then the out of combat movement speed allows you to rotate quicker. The extra tower damage and minion damage allows you to push quicker. It can be really snowball if you allow uncontested Fangtooths, and you start getting up to the 4th one and the 8 power for each player is, that's when it can get out of control. I don't know if we're going to see Oxygen do what they did the first time when they allowed them to take the Raptor so they could take the OP because all their sessions were on cooldown. I don't know if that's a tactic they're employing on this game, but it doesn't look like they want to let them have too many more.
Yeah, Proficiency did a good job of zoning them out away from the last Fangtooth. I'm actually really interested in seeing what Lucer is building. It's always fun to see what he puts on his supports. This time he's gone for a bit more of a standard for him. He's going Lightstep Vanguard and PSK. So we've seen a number of different things. I actually think we're probably going to end up getting the the Domain of Stillness from him pretty soon, but Team Oxygen, they're going for the Prime Guardian right now, and with the Grux, it allows him to take it pretty easily. Ike's going to get wrecked into the middle of the fight. Here comes Azzy. He has to get the Black Hole down, but he doesn't really have the mana for it. He just drops on a rock, and he's going to get hit with the back it up right in the middle of the pit, and he's going to get smited mid-air by a Morgash. Lucer now caught in the middle of the mid lane. Ghost trying to get as much work done as he can. He will be able to kill. Wow, it looks like demons are spawning in Paragon. He does manage to get the kill onto Arsenic, I believe. I don't see him on the map anymore, which would indicate that one is dead.
Yeah, and in the middle of all that, I saw Proficiency chasing out Regal, and somehow Regal managed to use the shield and the knockback at the very same time, just to give that little bit of distance as the root was coming in. It was a really good play by him. Yeah, it's just showing the mastery of this hero. Unfortunately, it's not really counting for much because it's not a lot you can bring to bear right now in these team fights. As soon as IDOT goes down, they really do struggle because Team Oxygen get onto their entirety of the back lines, which happens to be the other 4 heroes.
And with that, Team Oxygen will find themselves a tier 2 tower, taking the jump pads away from Guile Esports, and they're looking towards a Fangtooth as well, using the containment bubble to try to keep them away. And it's gonna be another Fangtooth going the way of Team Oxygen. Their first one of the game this time around. It's actually taken a while for them to get it, 19 minutes up against Guile, but they still got a huge advantage in this game, and they're really using that Grux to great effect.
Yeah, I think this is the intention that Epic designed for Grux. Is just someone who, you know, he's not he can frontline brawl. He's like an off bruiser. But his ability to get onto objectives and simply melt them, I think that's what they always intended to be. So if you put him in front of an OP, you put him in front of a Fangtooth or a tower, he's really going to bring the burn down on it.
And indeed he has. He's been doing that all day today, making sure that Grux is put to good use. And the funny thing is, you only have 1 ban for each team, so you can't really even take out the Grux each time. So it could be something that's changed in the draft, but there's just so many heroes to take out that maybe that Grux doesn't get focused at all by Guile, even though it's done so well against them here. So with that being said, I mean, Guile, they're down in Orb Prime. They still have a 1 Fangtooth advantage, but Team Oxygen, if you take a look at the gold, they are currently about, well, apparently 1,000 gold ahead. That's not really... That may not be completely true with the bugs that are happening. Never know. That's
I mean, I've got them 6,000 gold ahead, 91 to 85.
Well, okay. But let's just fix the bugs then, right? Let's just fix them all up so that everybody knows who actually has gold and who doesn't. We do have Proficiency making his way over to mid, and if we take a look at it now, like magic, we have actually a lot more than a 6,000 gold lead. It's more like a 17,000 gold lead in favor of Team Oxygen.
I might have to fix mine quickly then.
Yeah, Paragon's full of surprises, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there you go. 104 to 87. That's some really good farming in those 15 seconds.
Yeah, some really good farming. Regal doing the best that he can, throwing the GTFOs out on the Arsenic, who I believe is still bugged. In any case, Team Oxygen will go for a tier 2 tower in the left lane. We'll just take that down. I believe they'll be looking towards the tier 2 in the right lane now, just trying to keep the pressure on all over the map.
Yeah, they can see that they're trying to get this tier 2 down, but I think Proficiency is definitely cognitive that this right lane is pushing in towards his T2. It'd be a shame if they had to do a 4-man rotation to take a tier 2 if their own tier 2 went down for free in the other lane, so just got to be wary of that.
All the lanes right now. That is the goal for Team Oxygen. They want all the lanes, they want all the base, and they want all the kills. Proficiency may be looking for another kill around Fangtooth, trying to set it up for his team. Now the vision here isn't the greatest for Guile Esports. They don't really have a ward in the pit, so if Proficiency were to walk on in, he'd be completely okay. Let's see how fast Guile Esports is going to try to do this one. There is some damage coming out first. There's Proficiency, starting it off with the back it up, or rather the Colossal Blow by him out on the Ghost, completely isolating him from the fight. Idic is forced to just take care of everything in the middle of the pit, and he's going to fall. Meanwhile, Azzy, he's just surrounded by everybody, hit with the containment fence. He's about to fall as well. Lucer coming around the back, so we've got Regal and Ghost just getting melted around, and although Regal was doing pretty well, as the Grimmix earlier in the game. He was doing excessively well against the Sevrog. It's just not going to matter in the end. It's going to be a full 5-man team wipe. Was that a pentakill? I just heard somebody say pentakill. I can't even tell.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Okay.
I was focusing on the proficiency versus the 2 ADCs right there, and he did so well to stay alive, giving them the juke shoes around the scenery within that offside jungle. And Regal did so well to try and keep him off the carry with the slows and the knockbacks, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately.
So who got a pentakill? I think it was Strafe, right?
It must have been.
He's at 9 and 2 and 5.
He's on 9 kills.
Yeah.
There's only him and Meds who could have the pentakill right now, so I'm assuming it was Strafe.
I'm thinking it was Strafe. So Strafe got a pentakill, which is, in case you guys were wondering, usually in competitive games they have this kill feed that goes on the game screen when you're spectating something. It says who kills who. We don't really have that, so we have to guess. Maybe the announcer tells us something. So that's why I have no idea if it's a pentakill or not, but it looks like Strafe did indeed get it. So yeah, it would be nice if we got the same thing that players see in game, but looks like Strafe is really pulling the strings for his team here and having a great match for himself as well.
Yeah, I mean he's on 9 kills now. He's just up to about 30,000 gold now, so he's 8,000 gold ahead of Ghost right now. And even with Ghost using those Revenant ults to try and obviously make up for that deficit, Strafe has still managed to pull ahead.
And goodbye, Lucer. That's about all we had time to say there. Is he gets caught out in the middle of the jungle, tried to go over towards the river bus, but there's just no spot that is safe right now for Guile. They're just kind of forced to their own side of the map, waiting for the next Prime Guardian to spawn, but it might not even take that long. Proficiency gets hit with a rock right up against the fog wall, but there's more than enough space here for Team Oxygen to take another Prime Guardian off the map.
Yeah, Proficiency just doing that, really outlanding the zoning. So if they wanted to take this Prime, they can do. Sevrog is probably so tanky now late in the game. What's he building right now? So he's got that numbing rogue and that possessed Spriking. So he's able to take quite a bit of punishment and just able to zone out Guile completely from this OP. I mean, the Guile even know that this is happening right now. They must have some sort of...
At this point, they may have some kind of idea about it, but what exactly can they do? Regal's going to get smacked around by Proficiency a little bit. Subjugate is not going to hit, but I think at this point it doesn't really matter. The Hive is going to find the kill, not even needing to use a curse for it. And that's just some good timing, using the Prime Guardian buff as soon as they get it to make sure that they take another hero off the map from Guile Esports. It's been textbook play the entire time from Team Oxygen, and I think they might even want to write another book soon because everybody obviously needs to learn from them.
Yeah, and even out without their one of their mainstay players, with Ram not being here, they're still putting on a show and still showing how it's done.
So Team Oxygen continue the push down the right lane, ready to try to end this game up against Guile Esports and take game number 1 of this grand final. It's not really taking a whole lot of effort from them, as he's even going to use the Dark Rift to get back. Looks like they're just going to surrender the inhibitor over to Team Oxygen and might even give up the last one as well. The minion wave is pushing on in. It's going to take a little bit for it to get there, but Team Oxygen, they've been patient pretty much all of today. And it seems like they're being patient now. And you know what? It's worth waiting for. It's definitely going to be worth it to get the victory in game number 1 of this grand final. And look at that minion wave. There's just so little for Guile Esports to do here. Idic's going to get knocked up in the air. We've got a colossal blow back onto the Reckoning of Revenant. And Ghost is still not really going to be able to be too effective at all. Lucer is going to be able to find the kill on the backside. But it doesn't really mean too much. We've still got Team Oxygen going on in, finding kills left and right, wiping pretty much, well, that is everybody off the map, as he's just bugged out right now. So Team Oxygen, with another full 5-man team wipe, they're going to surprise the core. If only it were thinking and feeling and knew actually how to feel feelings.
It still feels pain.
It still feels pain? Well...
Not anymore, obviously.
I think that makes them and or Guile Esports and the core very similar. So they both feel pain. They both feel the loss here in game number 1 of the grand final. And it's going to take a lot to try to overcome Team Oxygen in game 2.
Yeah, they just seem like a force to be reckoned with. I thought that, especially with that off lane, I thought, with the Grim. I thought he could really put some pressure on it, but props to him. His rotate. What is that? The Grim was quite static in lane. The Sevrogs was rotating and actually making those count. So even though he was missing on the farm a little, he was getting kills. So I think he was 2 kills and assists. So he was able to make the deficit up by doing that, but also he's been a presence for his team, which was pretty much all between the teams. I mean, obviously when Strafe starts to pop off and get a pentakill, that's going to do it as well. But yeah, just Oxygen, pretty much textbook stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a lot of people waiting for them to rejoin the competitive scene, and they finally come back now in pretty grand fashion. They are 1 game away from their PCL debut, well, their PCL return victory here. So they only need 1 more game to take the grand final. But Guile Esports will try to deny them that as much as possible. Currently, Team Oxygen up 1 games to 0. We'll see how they can do in game number 2 after a short break. Cheers, guys.